Welcome to RNS Real Nerd Shit. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Evan.
My beautiful, handsome co-host right across from me here. We're recording at our good friend's house. You're welcome, by the way. We're recording at our good friend Andy's house, so shout out Andy. Thanks for letting us record here.
Thank you so much.
And also, we love you, of course. And thank you also for letting us use your wonderful Blue Yeti microphone. So I did want to apologize real quick. We did miss an episode. I'm trying really hard. I don't want to miss any episodes. Tuesday, 6 p.m. That's the plan. I don't really want to miss them.
I can take some of the blame for this. It was slightly my fault, kind of.
Yeah,
so.
Evan was very busy with work, but he was supposed to edit that one. But either way, we both apologize. RNS as a conglomerate, we apologize.
It will be coming though, the episode.
Yeah, it'll come. That episode is going to be the not top 10. We're ranking the MCU.
Yeah.
So that will come out. It's a very long episode, but if you like hearing about the MCU for 3 hours, it's going to be, right up your alley.
This is slowly becoming the MCU cast. But it's okay.
Well, thank God today we're not talking about the MCU.
No, we're not.
I was actually super delighted. We're going to talk about the Suicide Squad. And I was very delighted to have Evan accompany me to a DC movie for once.
Yeah, I guess I should say the only other DCEU movie I've seen, since it all started with Man of Steel, was actually Man of Steel.
Yep.
I was like, the rest of them, I'm like, I don't want to watch this. So I never saw them.
And guess
what,
this
is the first one I'm seeing since then.
Guess what, Evan?
Yeah.
I don't blame you. Because they've all been shit. I remember we were kind of joking in the group chat with Andy, and we were like, oh, which one should Evan watch to catch up? None of them. They all suck. I do like...
Well, Shazam.
I like Shazam, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman to an extent. I think Shazam is the best one of those three. But they're all kind of just MCU light type movies.
Yeah.
There's nothing special. Suicide Squad is a movie where I would go out of my way to recommend it to people. I think it's actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. So...
I was never really too interested in Shazam. I saw the trailer for him, and I saw him flossing. And I was just like, yeah, this doesn't look like it's for me.
When characters floss, I go wild, I go wacky.
Yeah.
I just have to buy my ticket right away. But, yeah, so the DCEU had a rocky start. Obviously, Suicide Squad 2016 is fucking terrible. That's maybe... I had my own hangups with BVS. This is not about BVS, but Suicide Squad, so I'll just brush that aside. Suicide Squad is probably the worst one.
It's a bit ironic that Suicide Squad, the 2016... Was it 2016?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the 2016 one. It's a bit ironic that, well, I haven't seen it, so I can't say this fully, but just based on what you've told me and what I've heard, it tried really hard to bite the original Guardians of the Galaxy. And now they got James Gunn from Guardians of the Galaxy working on Suicide Squad. In some ways, it really did. Yeah, so that's kind of weird. In a weird way, it kind of came full circle.
Yeah.
So.
And the same thing with Zack Snyder and Joss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is weird. Well.
But yeah, so I guess that's a bit of a preamble, but I thought we would talk about, get a brief summary of the story out of the way. It's not too complicated. Basically, all it is if you're familiar with the Suicide Squad, the old one, it's Amanda Waller. She's an agent of the government, and she kind of, I guess you could say blackmail, I don't know the word. She pretty much forces criminals to work for her as agents.
Well, she gives them some incentive. She's like, oh, we'll lighten your sentence.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like a character like Bloodsport. I'm jumping ahead a bit, but she basically blackmailed him into doing it.
Well, it's the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
So,
He didn't even want to be part of it. But anyways, continue.
But she does kind of strong-arm them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you get 10 years off your, 3 life sentences. That's kind of nothing. Especially if I only do this once, who knows what the fuck. Anyways, but yeah, it's just her making her own little superhero teams for jobs that are way too dangerous for, normal army people or whatever. And it's also, comes out of their personal interest. Superman's not going to go, level a regime in, he's not going to level Corto Maltese and, kill the governor there.
Yeah.
And shit like that. But, if you force the Suicide Squad to do it, they'll do it. So, basically, that's what they're doing. They're going to...
It's a more down-to-earth mission, I guess you could say.
Definitely, yeah. But basically, in this movie, all they're doing is going to destroy a building. That's...
pretty much.
At least as far as we know for most of it, that's pretty much all.
Yeah, I like that they... Because it is a pretty simple movie, they didn't try to make it overly complex.
No.
They just said, basically, it's... Put the group of characters together and give them a really simple destination. They need to get there. That's all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's really not.
Don't make it overly complex.
And there is a twist. I know you haven't seen Suicide Squad, but do you know what like kind of the twist is in that movie?
In the original one?
Yeah.
Wasn't the villain like Joel Kinnaman's girlfriend?
Joel
Rick Flag.
That was
like
the
Rick
twist.
Flag.
That was
Okay,
not the twist. The twist was that it's similar to this movie. They send them to a city. They go and they have to infiltrate something, but in that movie they have to save someone. And then the twist is that they're saving Amanda Waller.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So she's not in like the command center in the original one?
She is, but when they get there, they're at the command center.
Oh, really?
And like it's I don't know. It's very stupid.
I'm gonna say, does it work or is it stupid?
No, it does not work. Nothing in that movie works.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? But I guess with the short summary out of the way, of course they have the big superhero fight at the end, and it's like it's not as simple as just demolishing the building. You've seen the trailers.
Yeah.
But do you want to run it back to the beginning and talk about some of the stuff from the opening scene?
Well, the opening, it starts with like a bang, pretty much.
I love the opening.
Yeah, the opening went great because it just gets right into the action. You starts with Michael Rooker's character.
Yeah.
Who is Savant? I think that's his
Savant.
name. Yeah. And for some reason, they choose to have basically the whole opening from his point of view.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I guess James Gunn just did that because he likes Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
Because this character, spoiler alert, he doesn't go anywhere after the opening. So yeah, it's
you know what? I don't feel like talking non-spoilers like some podcasters might do. But for anyone that wants to watch 5 minutes of a 20-view podcast and then dip out before the spoilers start, you want to say what you thought about the movie real quick?
I enjoyed it. It wasn't great. I do think some people are making out to be like something really genius. It's not. But that's not a bad thing. It was just a fun action movie.
It's not.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
But I think it's for a superhero movie. It's great and it's different and I think it does the whole raunchy superhero thing way better than Deadpool. Fuck Deadpool.
Again, I haven't seen Deadpool either because it's another thing that just didn't interest me, so I never went out of my way to watch it.
Dude, don't watch it. But anyways, yeah, both of us were pretty hot on it. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10 or something.
I give it a 7 out of 10.
Nice. Okay. Well, there you go. So if you don't want spoilers, leave. Go away.
There, you know what we know about the movie. You know what we think about the movie. That's all you need to know.
Now we should just spoil it. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, Savant, they give him a little creepy little introduction where he's like playing with a ball and like throwing it like accurately, and then he uses it to kill a bird that lands in his cell.
Is that his power? It's just like that he can be accurate with things.
It seems that a lot of people...
I'm like, that's like 3 of the characters in this movie.
A lot of the people the Suicide Squad gets their hands on are just people that are really good at aiming.
Yeah, I was like, is that... Because they don't really get into what his power is. Is that all his power was? He's just good at aim?
I imagine that's all it is.
I
don't know.
Mr. Sunday Movies. Shout out to Mr. Sunday Movies. I like you.
Shout out to the GOAT.
Yeah. Did you see his character's ranked video? Like, ranking...
He ranked the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, he ranked the deaths.
Oh, no.
Anyways, that's not important. What he said was like, oh, that Savant could kill anybody using anything. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's just like Peacemaker and Bloodsport, basically.
Yeah, Peacemaker, Bloodsport, and Deadshot, too.
Yeah.
Pretty lame power.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool for like one guy, but anyways. So, I guess we'll just do what we tend to do and just go through the plot of the movie, and we'll talk about it as it comes.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Savant, he's shown to be like accurate, and he's a savage.
Yeah.
He's a savage.
He's a savage because he kills a little bird.
He kills the birdie for no reason, and then Amanda Waller comes out. She says, "Come now," and then so he goes, and she's like.
I like that this is really quick. It's like the shots are going by really quick. They get him out. They put the bomb in his brain, which is like the thing for the Suicide Squad. It's like if they don't do what they're supposed to do on the mission, they blow it up.
Yeah,
they
like
blow him up.
You have a positive incentive to complete the mission in that you get a reduced sentence in the prison. Yeah. But you also
if you don't comply while you're on the mission.
Yeah, if you do something they don't like, they're gonna kill you probably.
Yeah. Hence the name.
Bomb in the neck, Suicide Squad, Task Force X.
Yeah.
And I do one thing, it's kind of a small thing, but I like that in this movie, it's not always the case, but they're like, Task Force X is like the title.
Yeah.
And then, like, Suicide Squad is something that they call it as like oh, fuck your Suicide Squad.
Yeah, basically.
It's like an insult, kind of.
Didn't they do that in the original, too? With Will Smith, aren't we some kind of Suicide Squad? That was like in the original.
They never make a distinction, I don't think, really.
Okay.
But in this movie, they make it, Amanda Waller's like, don't fucking call it that.
Yeah.
I like that. But yeah, so she assembles a team, and it's the crazy wacky team of like Pete Davidson and what's his name, Captain Hammer. What's his name?
Captain Hammer.
Nathan Fillion.
Oh, okay. TDK is his name in this. Yeah.
What's his? Oh, I don't remember what that stands for, but he's fall off.
The detachable kid.
He's arm fall off. Boy,
yeah.
From the comics. Which that's a pretty cool inclusion because he's like Dog Welder Man. Like he's one of the ones that
he's a joke.
He's a joke, and people are always he's like Big Wheel from Spider-Man, where people like as a meme they're like, oh, put him in.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
He actually did it. Yeah,
because like Polka Dot Man is one thing.
It was awesome. He got Nathan Fillion to play him too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I like Nathan Fillion a lot. I kind of wish he was someone
bigger, more important.
Yeah,
because he's a good actor. But
he is a good actor.
But as we see, I'm jumping ahead a bit, but James Gunn. He got all his cameos out of the way right away because they're all part of this original team.
I don't think we need to linger on that scene for too long, but there's one thing that I really liked is that in the original Suicide Squad, they have, I don't know, we talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
In the original Suicide Squad, they have little title cards for every single character.
Mm-hmm.
And, except Slipknot, which doesn't telegraph anything. Well, actually, he might have one, I don't know. But the little title cards are there, and they give you a bunch of information in a short period of time, and then they never follow up or use any of that information. It's just there as a little splash Scott Pilgrim card.
Yeah.
And it means nothing. In this movie, you learn more about all the characters that die in the beginning than any of the characters in the other movie. Like no cap.
Yeah.
They literally go in the helicopter and they just talk, and you're like, oh, this guy's like this guy's like this. It's good. It's a good scene.
But and I'm gonna say, again, I'm saying this as someone who hasn't seen the original, but I've seen that katana scene.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's basically what you're saying, where they're talking, but that's just like, it's so unnatural and exposition heavy. Whereas this, you kind of get what each of them are like from their mannerisms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the way they're bouncing off each other, you kind of understand who they are. But in the 2016 one, literally he's like, "This is Katana. You don't want to get on her bad side. She has a sword that restores your soul in the sword." It's like, dude, who the fuck are you talking to?
Yeah.
Like, no one. That sucks.
Whereas in this one, it's like, oh, you get right away that Pete Davidson's like the coward because like he doesn't want to be sitting next to Weasel. He freaks out when they think he might be a werewolf.
I really I like that too because of course, just in a moment. Are we missing anyone? Any of the cameos like Michael Rooker and?
Well, we didn't even go over the original team. So there's Weasel, who is played by Sean Gunn. And Weasel is pretty funny. He's just a joke character also.
Yeah.
Like we said, most of these characters at the beginning are just joke characters.
Yeah.
Javelin. Who else?
Well, Javelin actually pays off for the rest of the movie, I guess.
Well, yeah, kind of. But the character himself, like his costume is like ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's a ridiculous character just in general. His name is Javelin. What's the name of I don't know if she was like an alien, like the orange.
She is she's like the daughter of a Superman villain.
Okay.
I think her name is Mongol.
Okay, that was it. Yeah.
Mongol.
Mongol
is the dad.
Okay.
Mongol is the daughter.
Okay.
But yeah, he's just kind of like a dark side Thanos type guy.
Okay.
And then that's his daughter. Which I think out of those deaths though, which one is your favorite? The opening deaths.
Are we skipping ahead a bit?
Are we?
Yeah, because we're like, oh, they assemble the team. Now we're just saying, oh, they all die.
I guess so. Well, I mean, basically, they send this team of cameos.
And Harley Quinn and Rick Flag.
And Harley Quinn and Rick Flag and Captain Boomerang. Well, he's just a cameo in this one. Kind of.
Yeah, but he came from the last movie.
So they send that team of basically all the cameos and a couple main characters to an island, Corto Maltese.
Yeah.
Which is from The Dark Knight Returns. It's a fictional DC island.
Mm-hmm.
With actually no real ethnicity, because I noticed that like it kind of looks like a it looks like a what's it called, like a South American country.
Well, I was thinking like a Caribbean, something like Puerto Rico or something like that. That's
maybe, yeah, but it's just I just noticed with all the soldiers and the citizens and stuff that it's like every race.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm pretty sure it's like every race. Especially the soldiers.
I thought what I'm thinking is like a Spanish Caribbean country.
But yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And so they send them there to destroy a base and a weapon. They send them there to destroy mostly just the base, the building, and the information held within.
Yeah.
So they go there. they storm the beach. They get dropped in the water. Weasel drowns immediately.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. I think Savant goes to save him.
Yeah, he does, but by the time it's too late already, he already
I feel
drowned.
like it should have been someone else, just because when Savant dies, it would be kind of better.
I guess so.
But I mean, maybe he's doing it just to appease Amanda Waller or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, he goes and saves Weasel, or he tries to, and he's like, "Oh, the Weasel's fucking dead." Everyone's kind of like hiding on the beach, and then Black Guardian, Pete Davidson, my favorite SNL alum, Pete Davidson, my favorite Ariana Grande alum. He just still. At first, I was like, "What the fuck is he doing?" Like, at first I thought he was trying to trick the enemy soldiers, but no, he was like.
Even though Weasel dies, Blackguard, that's his name, right? Blackguard.
I think Black Guardian. I might be wrong.
Not important character.
Pete.
He's the Slipknot of this movie.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because Weasel does die, but I feel like that's mostly just like, oh, this character's so shitty.
Yeah,
like,
for the laughs. Yeah.
But Black Guardian is the first one. I don't know why he would be the Slipknot, because I guess the entire first team is the Slipknot. But,
I guess so, yeah.
But for him specifically, he's so disrespected. It's so funny. Like, he's just a rat immediately. He's like, "Oh, I talked to you. He was a snitch."
So he told the Cordo Maltese soldiers that basically they were going to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He tipped them off, and then they don't care who tipped them off. They just kill them all anyway.
Yeah, and you literally see Pete Davidson's face get blown off, like right on camera.
Yeah, you see his he gets headshotted.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And I think that's kind of, it was a good, like, first death, even though, like we said, Weasel died first. It was, like, a good first death, because it kind of shows you right away, like, oh, shit, this is, like, a violent DC movie.
Yeah.
By giving you, like, one of the worst possible deaths. Literally, his face is blown off.
Yeah.
By a soldier. And then after that, all hell breaks loose.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone starts dying, yeah.
So it goes wacky on the beach. It goes Normandy. It goes crazy.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So there's a ton of mayhem. Everyone dies except Rick Flag
and Harley. Yeah.
And real quick, before we get into the rest of the movie, do you want to talk about who we thought would die?
Who we thought would die in this scene?
Yeah, in the movie.
Well, I think we both knew, just from the trailers and stuff, that everyone on this, like, original team, they were dead.
Yeah, because there's
that.
footage of, like, the other team fighting a giant monster.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, that's probably the ending. So yeah, most of these people were confirmed dead, but I thought personally that Rick Flag, Harley Quinn, probably Bloodsport, and probably King Shark. I thought they were all safe.
Yeah.
But it turns out I wasn't completely correct, was I? Was I ever?
That's who I thought pretty much would be safe. Yeah. What was your, like, you asked me earlier, what was your favorite death on the beach?
So on the beach, that whole scene was very cool.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick a favorite one, just because it's so, like, I don't know if I would say if it was a fuck you to the last movie. Kind of was, but it just really plays with your expectations a little bit, is when fucking Captain Boomerang dies.
Dude, he gets a pretty bad one also. He gets shrapnels all in his face. The
Yeah,
helicopter goes flying and then, like, chops his whole body up.
Yeah, he has. Is it like it's shrapnel from like a helicopter explosion, and then the helicopter tumbles and fucking explodes him?
Yeah, it rips him apart. Which was crazy.
And like Harley's like sadly watching it. 'Cause
Yeah.
of course she's a clown. She can't stop the helicopter.
Yeah.
But that was cool, and they do an okay job of having like Harley, Boomerang, and Rick Flag kind of have a certain type of chemistry.
Yeah. Especially Rick Flag and Harley.
Yeah.
Which we see later in the movie.
I like that a lot, actually. And James Gunn did more work in like 10 minutes than the entire last movie, because the entire last movie, like, every time they're like, "Oh, we're a fan," like, it's like, fuck you. You are not no fucking
El Diablo death.
No, you don't get to say that. And they don't even attempt anything like that in this movie.
Yeah.
Which I like a lot. They don't attempt like, "Oh, we're a family now." Like, no.
Yeah. Some characters kind of have it, interpersonally.
Yeah.
But there isn't, like, as a whole, like, as a collective. Not really. Because they kind of go out of their way to show that some of them don't like each other.
Yeah.
Which comes to, it comes to a, I don't know, like, I don't know what to say, like an explosion at the end. You'll see, but we'll get to it. My favorite death from the beach scene at the beginning is either Pete Davidson, because that was just crazy. See him get his face blown off. And also, I don't like Pete Davidson. He's not funny to me.
I almost wish I didn't know the movie was rated R.
Right? Yeah, that would be
so
crazy,
awesome.
yeah. Or Javelin, because Javelin, his death was kind of funny, because like he was flirting with Harley Quinn at the end, and then when he dies, he's like, "I want you to have the Javelin," and he's trying to say why he wants to give it to her, and then he just dies before he can finish, and then the whole movie, she's trying to figure out the reason she had the Javelin, which is kind of funny.
I do like that part. It plays with like, I don't know. It's obvious to say, but you wouldn't expect a throwaway character like that. Like the entire Suicide Squad that dies at the beginning. One of them has like a Jesus item that he's like, please carry this with you. It will show you.
Is that what he says? It will show you? Was that it? And then he died? He was going to say something, and then he just dies.
Yeah, so I really like the Javelin.
Yeah.
The Javelin part. But yeah, after that, you have anything else to say about the beginning?
No, it was just, it was crazy. It pretty much set the whole tone for the rest of the movie. It's just kind of relentless.
Yeah.
Which was great. That's what you want from a movie like this.
Exactly. Yeah. Because Suicide Squad, it fits perfectly for this type of R-rated thing. Like, there's a little heart to it, and there's a little like shit like that, but mostly it's just like you said, it's like relentless. You should not feel comfortable with these characters.
Yeah,
they're not in a comfortable situation.
Well, that's even on the poster. It says, "Don't get too attached."
It says we're not comfortable.
Oh yeah, it says we're not comfortable. Yeah, that's exactly what it says.
But I really like one of my favorite parts of the movie after that was, and it's also very simple, but like in retrospect is very simple, but it was a great choice, is that it goes back to the lab, the secret base with Amanda Waller and everyone forcing these people to do the Suicide Squad shit, and they're like, oh, cut to team, like they're like, check on Team B,
yeah,
and then they go check on the main characters of the movie,
yeah,
and
at first we don't know that there's another team.
No, we don't.
Well, we know from like, we know personally from trailers and stuff,
but we don't know how they're going to be introduced.
Yeah. But we find out, oh, she sent 2 teams on the same mission
at the same time,
and they don't know that.
So basically,
neither team knows that.
One thing that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Well, actually, you know what? It does make a lot of sense because she wanted to kill Rick Flag probably anyway. We'll get into that later. But basically, Peacemaker's a better Rick Flag, and Rick Flag's a liability.
Yeah. So Peacemaker's on Team
so
B.
if you kind of do think about it, it does make sense that Amanda Waller would put Rick Flag, because Rick Flag, for context also, he's the only agent that's like, he's a paid agent of the government. Yeah,
he's not one of the supervillains.
He's not one of the supervillains. He's the only person that they send, because I don't think the other team doesn't have a government person.
No,
but it does have Peacemaker.
I'm gonna say kind of Peacemaker.
Yeah. So it actually does make sense. When I was first watching, I was like, oh, it doesn't make sense. Why would she send Rick Flag on the team that dies? But it's because she wanted him dead anyway.
I guess that does make sense, yeah.
And then I was like, oh, well, why would she put Harley on that team? And I was like, she's not DC. She doesn't... she's not WB or DC. She doesn't care if Harley dies. So actually, in retrospect, that's really cool. So they go to Team B, and Team B was able to easily enter the island because everyone else was going to kill the team we initially saw with Savant and stuff like that. So... pretty cool.
And then from there, we just get a flashback, basically telling us about Bloodsport, who is Idris Elba's character, and the rest of the team, I guess.
Bloodsport is just Deadshot.
Yeah, but he's better, right? I assume, compared to the last movie. It would have been cool if we got, like, if the last movie didn't exist, and then this was just Deadshot in this movie, but whatever. Yeah, because
then I would be like, wow, there's a movie with Deadshot, and he's awesome.
Yeah.
But instead it's Bloodsport, which is fine.
Idris Elba's a much better actor than Will Smith.
Of course.
Maybe that's going to be controversial because I know everyone loves Will Smith, but I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, Will Smith's cool, but he's... I don't know. I actually do like Will Smith, unlike Evan. But
I like Idris Elba.
But I agree. Idris Elba's a way better actor, and he's also a way better Deadshot.
Yeah, so there we go.
So Bloodsport... We have the backstory with his daughter. His daughter's kind of getting into a little trouble, and Amanda Waller basically blackmails him because he won't join the team.
Yeah,
so she blackmails him into
working.
Team. Yeah, because like getting out wasn't enough, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll threaten you with your daughter." And also, they introduced there that the people that work under Amanda Waller are not really comfortable with a lot of her, like.
Oh, they went out of her way to show like she's just like. a maniac.
She's evil.
Which I liked. Yeah, I like that though.
I love Amanda Waller though. I like her more than Nick Fury. In my opinion.
I don't know enough about her to say.
Nick Fury's cool.
She went dope in this movie.
They're pretty much the same character, except Amanda Waller is, like, she'll do anything. Like, she just wants America to be the top power in the world, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So she's... I wouldn't say Nick Fury's not really a villain, so...
Sometimes
you can push him in that direction, but I feel like it's a lot more blatant with her.
He can be an antagonist, but this bitch is a villain.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but I fucking love her, man. She's awesome. So yeah, where do they go? They just go into the woods.
Yeah. So should we talk about who the second team consists of?
Yeah.
So we have Bloodsport, like we said, with Idris Elba.
Yes.
Peacemaker, who's John Cena. We have Polka Dot Man.
I forget his name.
I don't know the actor's name yet, but
Wonderful
Polka Dot Man.
actor.
There's Ratcatcher 2. Not Ratcatcher, Ratcatcher
David
2.
Dastmalchian.
Okay.
That's Polka Dot Man's name.
Do you know who played for Ratcatcher 2?
A beautiful goddess.
Okay, it's her. Ratcatcher 2. And then King Shark, who Sylvester Stallone voices. Yeah.
Which is really cool. I like seeing the kind of subtle pulls he has from the MCU a little bit. You know, Coach Michael Rooker was in Guardians. Sylvester Stallone was in Guardians too.
And he brought that over.
And stuff like that. Of course, his little brother.
Yeah, Sean Gunn.
So, it was kind of cool to see these people in a different context. Also, Taika Waititi.
Yeah, he played Ratcatchers.
Ratcatcher 1.
Yeah, 1.
Yeah, pretty cool.
From these characters, well, I guess this is spoiling the end a bit, but I liked how they went out of their way to humanize a lot of the characters from the main ones. From the first team, we don't know enough about them to really say.
No, the first team, you get kind of that talk in the helicopter. That's all you get.
So I really liked Bloodsport, Polka Dot Man, and Ratcatcher because they go out of their way to kind of show, especially with Polka Dot Man and Ratcatcher, that even though they're like villains, they were more kind of victims of their circumstances. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because Ratcatcher, she grew up homeless. You know what I mean? And her dad, she like loved him, but they also kind of showed that he wasn't the best, I guess. Because he didn't do too much to take care of her, I guess. They were living homeless with rats.
I mean, there's a conceit where, like, I can make a conceit, I mean, for certain things. I bring this up a lot. But it's kind of hard to swallow, like, this dude can control animals, but he's still homeless.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't know, but it works.
But it's just kind of how she grew up. It's the only thing she knows.
They also
the only thing she knows is, like, or robbing banks or doing, you know what I mean, stealing using her rats.
And it was interesting, too. I liked how it gives you insight into, like, the real world versus superheroes, how it might work, and especially in a legal sense, because she says, oh, I robbed the bank with my rat, and they considered it a deadly weapon. That's why it was a felony.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I like shit like that.
Yeah, that was good.
So, yeah, Ratcatcher, I like them all, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
I thought...
And then Polka Dot Man, he's basically like a lab experiment.
Yeah.
His mother wanted him to become a superhero, so she, like, was testing... Something that has to do with, like, another dimension, basically.
Yeah.
And now he has some kind of virus from another dimension
I think basically
that causes him to puke up polka dots.
It's one of those things where they're like... It's like a Terrigen Mist. Isn't that the Inhumans?
Yeah.
Or like, it's one of those blanket, like, oh, here's the origin for a fucking ton of people, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure if James Gunn makes more DC movies, we'll see some of his siblings, Polka Dot Man.
Did he say they died?
He said
some of them died.
Some of them live, some of them died.
Okay.
So I think we'll definitely see, like, Dog Welder Man as his brother or something.
So he hates his mother.
Yes,
he sees everybody as his mother. He's like, I guess he has PTSD, you could say.
Yeah.
I would say that. He's, like, extremely mentally ill because of his upbringing.
And he's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like him. him.
The effect for Polka Dot Man is cool. The sickness was pretty cool. He gets a sickness where if he doesn't purge the polka dots often enough, he gets, like, boils on his skin that are, like, colorful polka dots.
The only thing I didn't like about that is that they go out of their way to show it a lot in the beginning. Yeah. And then it just kind of doesn't come back in the second half of the movie.
I think it was just kind of a cool idea. Like, oh, what if he gets polka dot sickness if he doesn't use his polka dots?
Yeah, and then it's like they forgot that they made that a thing.
Really.
Yeah.
It would be cool if he vomited the polka dots on someone's head and it fucking disintegrated them.
Something like that. They should have did something with it, but they didn't. So that was kind of a knock against it.
Polka Dot Man, he's
not
one
a big
of the
deal.
yeah. Polka Dot Man, he's not one of the main ones, but he's definitely, like, he's a standout, and I like that actor a lot. I hope he gets more work. He was also in The Dark Knight and Ant-Man. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, and he's going to be in Dune. Another WB movie.
How about that? A lot of love for WB going around. So I guess King Shark, real quick. Not too much to talk about with King Shark.
I was confused. What was his origin?
So
was he a human?
His origin is actually the way they explained it is actually comics accurate. Where he's whether he's human or not, I don't think they know, and of course we don't know.
Kind of the same as Weasel.
Pretty much, but the difference is where he's from. It's like some Pacific island or some shit.
Okay.
And he's like, some people there worship him as a god.
Okay.
And that's what they call. I forget what name they call him, but
yeah.
King
That's
Shark,
the name that he has on that island.
Yes.
Okay.
And he's considered a god.
Okay.
And they don't confirm or deny either way if he's magic or he might as well be. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, but we don't know. But he's cool. He's kind of just like a dumb boy. He's like the Hulk of the group. He's cool.
Yeah, he's not very intelligent.
Some of his action is pretty awesome. I like when he rips that guy in half.
At first, yeah, he's just kind of a mindless murdering machine.
Oh, actually...
And then that's kind of... His character arc is trying to learn how to work with the rest of them.
Yeah,
and making friends.
Have a relationship with people.
Yeah.
I actually do really like... one of the first scenes, kind of where we left off when we were kind of going through the story. They kind of camp out for the night. They haven't had a run-in with any soldiers or anything. They're like, oh, well, let's sleep here for tonight. And then...
he tries to eat Ratcatcher.
He tries to eat Ratcatcher, and it looks really funny. I like that part. It looks like a Looney Tune thing.
It does.
Like she's still sleeping, and he's able to just hold her like a baguette, and try and eat her. And then the rat walks over and like awakens Bloodsport.
Yes.
And they all save her. They have a discussion. And actually, one of my favorite parts of the whole movie is
it was funny though. They were like, "Well, you're a really heavy sleeper or whatever," and then that kind of goes into her origin because she was like sleeping, in these crazy places with her father surrounded by rats. So
yeah.
Obviously she's adapted, yeah, to sleeping, under
sleeping in
circumstance.
places,
yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Which, I like that. That does follow through the whole movie. And also she's beautiful and wonderful and cute. And I love Ratcatcher so much. And, King Shark's about to eat her. They stop him. Fucking Bloodsport blows his shit up. Like, he's unloading into King Shark.
But he's basically bulletproof.
Yeah, he's pretty much, he's like almost invulnerable, which does kind of lend to like, is he magic? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of cool. But one of my favorite lines in the whole movie, I love when, basically, they stop King Shark from eating her, and then Ratcatcher's like, oh, well, would you eat your friends? And he's like, oh, I have no friend.
Yeah, and this is kind of the beginning of his character arc.
Yeah, basically he learns to make friends, but I really like what Ratcatcher says. She says something to the effect of, if I die for love, it'll be a worthy death. I like that a lot. And I like Ratcatcher a lot, and she's a wonderful, beautiful character. I love her so much.
Chill out, bro.
Well, she's great. I love Ratcatcher. But yeah, she's awesome. And you get to see John Cena's huge cock.
Yes, okay. So, in this scene when they're woken up, John Cena's just in his whitey tighties, and he may or may not be loaded down there.
Yeah, it looks like he took a shit in his pants. He has a huge cock. It's pretty funny. Bloodsport's like, why the fuck are you sleeping in that? And it's pretty funny.
Yeah. We haven't talked about Peacemaker, so...
Peacemaker's awesome.
He's definitely, like, one of the most straight-up villainous of the group.
I think he's definitely is.
What makes it, like, kind of scarier is that, like, he's not aware that he's, like, a villain. Like, he thinks he's, like, a hero.
He's completely unaware that he's a villain.
Yeah, he thinks he's a hero. He thinks he's doing everything for liberty, for peace.
Yeah, he thinks he's the most heroic in that entire group.
Yeah.
Right? And I do kind of like the...
Which pays off in the end.
It does.
Yeah.
I do kind of like the aspect of, like, you have Bloodsport, Rick Flag, and Peacemaker, and they're all kind of, like... You know, they're pretty similar in like, the basic ways.
Yeah.
Of, like, they have the same skill sets, really. But they're also kind of mirror images of each other, and you know they don't do too much with that, but it's cool.
Peacemaker's kind of just a straight up parody of like imperialist America, like kill anybody you can for freedom, liberty. If it's for America, then it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I really the way I would describe him too is like if after Captain America 1, if in Winter Soldier Captain America was just like
he's like John Walker from Falcon.
He's like John Walker. But he's also
except more evil.
But you know how in Winter Soldier he's kind of like, oh, like I'm going back against America. Like I'm not for America no more because they're evil.
Yeah.
Like Peacemaker would just say, you know, if America says so, I do it.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I don't even know if that's completely accurate to John Walker. I don't know. But this isn't about fucking John Walker.
Yeah.
But he is similar.
Similar. That's what I mean.
But yeah, so Peacemaker, he's very cool, very funny. John Cena, probably the best acting I've ever seen from him.
I've only seen this in Bumblebee, so I can't say. But he was the best part of Bumblebee. I didn't like that movie, but he stood out. His performance was funny.
He's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, so... so I can say I like John Cena.
Even the dramatic stuff, I don't know if that boils down to James Gunn or the writing, or I don't know what it boils down to, but for what it was, John Cena was good at the dramatic parts, too.
Yeah.
So, who have we not covered? Fucking Harley Quinn. She has a fun little subplot, doesn't she, Evan?
Yeah, she's kind of separated for most of the movie.
Yeah, because in the beginning, because of course Rick Flag and Harley Quinn are the only two, like, people we are familiar with or main characters in the first group. They survive. The rebels of the island. So there's like a political conflict on the island. There's rebels trying to overthrow the government. The Americans are trying to erase the weapons that they had for the change of hands. It's, you know, political intrigue is happening on the island in the background. The rebels fighting against the government save Rick Flag. Harley, though, is captured by the enemies.
Yeah.
Harley winds up having like a little romantic subplot, kind of. And Rick Flag is saved by the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
That's really the first thing the Suicide Squad does. Amanda Waller's like, Rick Flag is captured, go save him.
Yeah. And then at that same time, that's when we see some of Harley's subplot.
Yeah. So I guess pretty much all Harley does in the movie, up until she joins the Suicide Squad, she just has the new dictator courts her. They kind of have a little romance for a few minutes
until he's like, "Oh, you know what? I want to." What is it? He did he want? No, he wasn't. He didn't want to unleash Starro. That's the general, but he wanted to do something. I forgot what it was.
He was just saying like, he was like, "I'll kill fucking anyone for this country."
Yeah, it's basically something like that. He's evil. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And then Harley Quinn just straight up murders him, which was a great scene. It was funny.
And I actually like their little, like, the scene. They don't show them fucking, but they start making out really hard, and like,
You get the idea.
I really like how, I don't know, it was cool the way they did it, because it was like, oh, it's a superhero movie, so this crazy shit. Like, they're just knocking into glass, shattering glass, knocking over antiques. It was pretty funny. And then she grabs one of the antique guns she had knocked over. She grabs and blows his spine out, fucking kills him.
And it's really funny because, like, we see, like, he's just, like, dying a really bloody death. And she's still trying to talk to him the whole time. She's like, oh, if I told myself, if I see a red flag in another guy, I'm murdering him, which was a really funny line.
I like that.
Yeah. And then he's just bleeding out, like... He clearly doesn't, like, in that moment, he can't process anything she's saying, but she's still monologuing. Yeah. So that was a really funny scene.
But it doesn't come off like in Suicide Squad, Jesus Christ, Suicide Squad 2016, it doesn't come off like that where it's like, who the fuck are you talking to? Like, she's clearly saying this all for her.
Yeah.
Like, to kind of, you know, accept the situation and justify it and everything. Mm-hmm. So, it's way better in that sense, and I thought it was good. I like seeing Harley kind of... you know, take charge of her own shit. And,
I guess that was a follow-up from Birds of Prey, right? Another movie I didn't see, but I think they were trying to go in that direction with that character, right?
I feel, honestly, even though I don't really like Harley or Margot Robbie in these movies, the story arc is kind of consistent.
Yeah.
Like, breaking up with Joker, like, kind of like a conflicted relationship with Joker, breaking up with Joker, and then here where she's trying to move on. And I think they actually set her up pretty good to start... dating like Poison Ivy or meet Poison Ivy or something.
Yeah.
That could be cool. I don't know if they'll do that, but I would like that a lot, and I think she's like set up for it perfectly. But that's really, as far as solo stuff, that's all Harley really has going. She does have the Javelin thing that she got from Javelin.
Yeah.
That does pay off, but that's about all she has to do. And she, well, of course she does, after she kills the dictator, they fucking put her in like a little prison. And then she escapes and has a cool action sequence. Very cool action sequence.
I would say, like, honestly... It kind of feels like they just put Harley Quinn in the movie just to put her in. Because most of her subplot isn't really...
It's very detached from everything.
Yeah, it doesn't affect the main plot of the movie. And I heard Ralph say this in his review. Shout out Ralph the Movie Maker.
Uh-oh.
But basically, they kind of just used her for marketing purposes, which is
Yeah.
kind of messed up.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah, because
Is it messed up?
I think so, because like they could have did more with her character. Why have her there just for marketing?
To be honest,
And
though,
Margot Robbie's a good actress. I'm not crazy about Harley Quinn, but she's a good actress. They could do something more with the character.
I disagree, because I think she gets like some of the most focus in the entire movie, because she has.
But none of it. I feel like most of it's not really pertain to the main plot in the movie. And I feel like she, like, unlike most of the other characters in the movie who get like arcs in the movie, she doesn't really get an arc in it. I feel like she's pretty consistent throughout the whole movie. You know what I mean?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, her character is pretty consistent throughout. I feel like the rest of them, they kind of get arcs. You know what I mean?
I feel like she has.
Where she's not really that dynamic. But that's just my opinion.
She has a bit of an arc, I think, and she also.
Which, I mean, she doesn't necessarily need to be, because she already did have 2 other movies.
True.
So she can just be there just to be there. But still, I just wish she had more bearing on the plot.
Yeah, I do definitely agree that she's detached, and
Because she doesn't really join with them until the final act of the movie.
She doesn't really have any bearing on the plot, and she's very detached from it. But I like her little story. But the movie does feel a little long. Maybe that's why. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
The movie there was like, because I know
they should have rescued her earlier, probably.
I was making fun of you in the movie because you kept checking your phone, but you had somewhere to be.
No, I had somewhere to be. We don't
Hold
need
on.
to add that into it.
No, listen. No, I was making fun of you.
I'm a busy man, okay?
Let me talk, Evan.
This man's talking. Oh, I'm making fun. I'm joking.
No, because I have more to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
I was making fun of you because you kept looking at your phone, but of course, like IRL, you had somewhere to be.
Yeah.
So you were just trying to make sure the movie wasn't running too long and you had time to get there. But my point is that when I saw the movie first on Thursday and then again with Evan on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Kind of.
Well, that's not. I was late. Okay. Anyways, my first time seeing it, when I actually saw the entire movie on Thursday, I actually checked my phone like at least 2 or 3 times, just because, and I wasn't even like, oh, let me go on Instagram or something. I was just checking the time because I was like, damn, all right, keep it moving.
It does drag a bit.
It drags a little bit.
Yeah.
That's maybe
which is weird. Even though we were saying it was relentless, towards the like second half of the movie, there's parts where it starts dragging a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you could really cut out, if you could just make a few different parts shorter, or if you could cut out Harley. I don't know, but it does
I think
drag.
Harley, after she killed the dictator, she should have joined up with the rest of them. They shouldn't have her be kidnapped and then kidnapped again. Doesn't make sense.
Wait, is she kidnapped again?
Yeah, because after she killed the dictator, that's when she gets locked up.
Well, she's kind of arrested, yeah.
Yeah.
So
they kind of do the same thing twice.
But one of my favorite parts in the whole movie,
what I mean?
I really like Harley's fight scene.
It is really good, yeah.
Really
but I'm
like
just saying, I feel like if you want to get rid of that...
Which is worth more? The fight scene or
the flow of the movie. Get the flow going.
Yeah.
She could have joined up with him after that.
Yeah.
I think.
I agree. Or you could have just had her get kidnapped and then do the escape. And
Yeah,
just cut out
something
all
like
the dictator shit.
Or that, yeah. Because, like I say, both of them don't really have too much bearing on the plot. They're really there just because she is popular. It's Harley Quinn fan service, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which is fine. She has her fans. That's cool.
But yeah, Harley Quinn, not too much else to say.
But you know me, I'm a film critic, so I'm going to tell you what's real.
You know what? Guess what? We're on guess where we are. Guess where we are. We're on the RNS right now.
So we're going to tell you how it is.
We're going to tell exactly the truth.
So the rest of the team, basically, throughout the movie, they're just fighting. They're just fighting the Corto Maltese soldiers, getting some info about where they need to be.
Well, Harley's first part, where she's kidnapped when she's having the romance with the dictator, they are going to save Rick Flag.
Yeah.
And they get to a camp, and then Amanda Waller she says, don't pull any punches, kill everyone.
Yeah.
And then they do, and then it winds up that these were all the rebels.
Yeah.
That because up until we meet Rick Flag again, we don't know that he was saved by the rebels. We think he was captured by the government. So, yeah, they're just going in there, and I actually really think that scene is funny. I think it's good where
the action was great. It was awesome when Idris Elba and John Cena, Peacemaker, and Bloodsport, they're trying to like outdo each other.
Yeah, I really
that was great. That was really good.
And honestly, like, this movie, I've heard criticisms from certain critics, across the internet. Not going to name anyone specific, Grace Randolph.
Okay.
But this scenario is not a Disney movie. I'm not saying it's deep art or anything, but this shit's dark. Like,
Yeah.
these are like forced soldiers. They're in the midst of a terrible civil war.
Yeah.
Like, this is not kid-friendly shit. So when they go in and they kill the good guys on accident, it can be played for laughs. It's okay. Like, it's not a fucking Disney movie. It's stupid. Very stupid.
I agree.
So I thought it was hilarious. I like when they go in and Rick Flag sees the Suicide Squad. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing here? I'm negotiating peace.
Yeah.
Like, what do you guys want?" And I really like that. And they just have.
And they try to play it off. They're like, "Oh, like, did we see anybody out there? We don't know what happened."
Oh, shit. Yeah, one of them says like, "Oh, no one was out there."
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that was Peacemaker, right?
Yeah.
That was funny.
Oh man. So that was pretty good. They save Rick Flag, and then I think once they save Rick Flag, I think their goal is to find the Thinker.
Yes,
That's what they go do next.
Because he's working on the project in... I don't remember the name of the fortress they need to get to.
It's the big circle brick building.
Yeah. So
And,
we start finding out that he's working on Starro there.
Yeah, he's been the head of Starro for 30 years.
Yeah. And Starro is like an alien that was brought from... I guess kind of spoiler for the twist, but the U.S. brought Starro from outer space and started experimenting on him in Corto Maltese.
Yeah.
But for a majority of the plot, you think it's just the Corto Maltese government experimenting on Starro. And he's getting bigger and bigger because they're letting him basically feed on innocent people.
Yeah, Starro sprays out little Starros.
Yeah.
They grab your face. They're a face hugger.
Basically,
hug
it's
your
like the face huggers from Alien.
And they suck all the life energy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you, like, pretty much in the movie, when one of the Starros gets on your face, you're dead. That is not how it works in the comics. I don't have an issue with it, but just saying for context.
Yeah.
If one gets on your face, you're fucking dead immediately. And then if he has the more hosts,
you become like part of his consciousness.
Yeah, you become one of his zombies.
Yeah, and he gets bigger.
The more zombies he has, the more life force he has, the bigger he grows. So yeah, they go grab the Thinker. I think he's a Flash villain, and it's cool that they just throw him in there. It's like, yeah, this dude's working in fucking South America. Like, he's just, it's just this like Silver Age Flash villain just working down there, and he looks exactly like he should and everything.
Yeah, that was
it's
cool.
pretty like James Gunn. I like how in this movie he doesn't. Well, of course, it's not all up to him, but whoever made that decision, I like how everyone just looks comics accurate for the most part, and there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
It's just a clusterfuck of comic book characters. It's really cool. So they go to the bar, and I like this scene a lot because it's...
Oh yeah, the Thinker, they find out, they get info, I think it was from Amanda Waller, that the Thinker usually hangs out at this bar.
Yeah,
it's
he goes
like nightclub.
to the same bar all the time. So they go and they put on civilian clothes, they leave the Shark Man in the trunk, and they go inside the bar, and they kind of just have a cool time for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that because there's a scene in Suicide Squad 2016. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Which one?
Do you remember that? In 2016, Suicide Squad, they go to a bar and they're supposed to have like a team building moment.
Yeah.
And it's dog shit.
Like I said, I didn't see the movie. So.
in Suicide Squad,
I remember it was in some of the trailers, though. I think.
I thought maybe you would remember from like Ralph's review or something.
Okay.
But yeah, it's very forced. It's very stupid. Captain Boomerang's like, "Fuck this, I'm going home."
Okay.
And then he's just in the end of the movie. He doesn't have like an epic entrance where he saves someone or anything.
Yeah.
He's just in the team at the end, even though he left earlier. It's dog shit. But in this movie, you actually have a cool little scene of them kind of just partying.
Yeah.
It's not. The thing is too is that they're in a party.
Yeah.
It's not them alone in a decrepit bar, like trying to, like make. Like Marvel jokes.
Yeah.
They're just like getting drunk. Polka Dot Man's like getting twerked on.
He sees his mom.
Like, everyone's working on him is his mom. And then I really like how Peacemaker and Bloodsport and what's his name, Rick Flag.
Yeah.
They're all just kind of knocking back beers, and even Bloodsport is like he's like, I have one drink.
Yeah.
And then like you see eventually he's like fucking four drinks deep or something. It's just cool. It just feels like a very
It was a fun little moment.
Moment. Yeah. And then eventually, of course, Thinker walks in.
Also, I just want to say, leading up to this when you start getting some of like the character building for them,
like on the bus ride.
Yeah, on the bus ride
to the bar.
Yeah, you find out a little bit more about Bloodsport, a bit more about Ratcatcher.
Oh,
and
that's
they get a moment with each other.
Yeah, that's also
which
the
I
moment
liked.
where
I think the point was like kind of, maybe I'm reaching here, but I think he kind of saw her as like a surrogate for his daughter.
no, you're not reaching, because they verbatim say that in the movie.
Did they? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I don't remember that, but yeah, I think it's like, oh, he saw her like his daughter.
He says, "You remind me of my daughter."
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go.
No, so they kind of have a slight. It's not too deep, but it's like a father type relationship with Ratcatcher. I like that a lot, and I also like how there's no love interests between the Suicide Squad members, which
didn't need that. Yeah,
that could be a very easy trap to fall into.
Yeah,
but no, didn't need that. And so yeah, they get that bit, and then at the end that pays off. With Ratcatcher and Bloodsport probably have the closest relationship in this particular team.
Yeah.
And then, well, I guess maybe Rick Flag and Harley are kind of close.
They are.
But guess what? That relationship doesn't last the whole movie, does it, Evan?
It doesn't.
So yeah, they grab Thinker. They fucking. There's a little action scene.
Yeah, because some of them are fighting off the soldiers, while Polka Dot Man and Ratcatcher take the Thinker.
And I thought that was kind of clever too, because it's like, you two look like not Americans. Like, you know what I mean? Like they look like they could maybe be natives of some South American shit.
Yeah.
But it's like two white guys.
Ratcatcher, she's not Hispanic, but she's from
I think they're from Brazil.
Yeah, they're from Brazil.
I think so.
Is that Hispanic? I guess. I don't know. She's being Portuguese.
I have no idea.
Okay, well, anyways, she's from a Central American country or South American country.
It's kind of clever because they we didn't mention, okay, when they're getting the Thinker, right when they grab him, the army comes in looking for the Americans. They know there are some Americans on their soil trying to uproot shit, whatever. So they're going around searching everyone, checking IDs, making sure, like, trying to find out who's American. And then the three people that look clearly American, or at least not from that country, they're like, okay, we'll give ourselves up. You guys go, bring the Thinker, and we'll meet you there. So, they just give themselves up. Bloodsport, John Cena, and Rick Flag. They all give themselves up. They have a quick action scene. They escape. They get back on the bus with the other team members.
Yeah. And then we already kind of talked about this. They go to save Harley.
Yeah.
But then Harley already killed everybody herself, so...
And I think the really funny part about that is because it was such a good, at least to me, it was such a good action sequence.
I agree. I liked that scene.
It was such a good action sequence of Harley breaking out, and then to see that, like, they're setting up another kind of action scene.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we did that already.
And we get a really evil moment from Peacemaker here, where he's just aiming his rifle at, like, an innocent woman, because they don't see anybody because Harley already killed them.
Yeah.
So they don't see anybody. And then, so Peacemaker just has a gun on a building nearby, aimed at an innocent woman who's, like, working in the office. And he's like, oh, let me know. And you let me know when I shoot.
Yeah, because they all have their little parts in their little heist to save Harley, and then she just kind of walks out, and she's like, oh, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, and then before we get a moment with Rick Flag and her, they clearly already have an established relationship with each other.
And it was actually really nice to me the way Harley reacted. She was like, "You're gonna save me?"
Yeah.
Like, wow, that was actually pretty nice. That was cute.
I guess, like you said, then in that way there is kind of some follow up from the last two Harley Quinn movies, Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
They don't explain at all, not that they need to.
Yeah.
That how Harley got back in prison.
Oh, they do say at the very beginning. I forgot what it was. Yeah, they do. It's something stupid, though. It's like a little joke.
It's like, I stole a birdie.
It was something like that, yeah. I forgot what it was.
Okay. Well, I missed that, Evan.
Yeah.
I missed that.
It's really quick. It's really quick, so. Like I said, it's not important anyways, but yeah.
But what was epic? What was epic after that? Something epic happens. They slam Thinker's head into the eye scanner. I love that. I don't know why.
Yeah, after this, the Thinker basically gives them the info about Starro, and he tells. Is this when he tells them about the U.S. government?
Yeah, once they get down.
No, that's once they get to the actual like fortress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But not too much happens between that, right?
Not really.
Nah, they basically they take Thinker to the big Starro facility that their whole mission is to destroy that building and all the records inside it. Mm-hmm. So they take Thinker, they slam his head. I love that part. They slam his face on the eye scanner.
Oh yeah, so they can get inside.
And the eye scanner like shatters, but then they get in, and then they start setting up the shit to demolish the building. There's some action shit here and there, but it's not too crazy. Then they take who is it? Ratcatcher and
Ratcatcher
and Rick Flag.
Ratcatcher, Rick Flag, and Peacemaker.
No, Peacemaker's setting bombs.
But he goes and follows him, which we find out why. In a moment.
But the part before Peacemaker comes down though, he's explaining to Rick Flag and Ratcatcher like
the Thinker.
Oh wait, what did I say?
The Thinker is explaining to them.
Oh yeah, the Thinker,
I'm just saying for context.
Yeah, the villain that they captured, that the head of Starro shit. He they get down to the basement and they see all these fucking zombies.
Yeah.
They're like, we had no idea. Like, I don't think they knew the weapon is called it's called Starro, Project Starro or something.
Like Starfish or something.
Project Starfish.
Yeah, something like that.
But they have no context at all for what it is. And then Thinker, I think actually it's pretty cool because a lot of the times when a villain gives you exposition, it's like, why the fuck are you telling me? But in a sense, Thinker is kind of like, you pompous American, like, this is your shit, like, fuck you, like, because the way Rick Flag reacts is like, you're disgusting, like, how could you do this? And then he's like, well, it was your fucking government, and he tells him the story. So it was actually a little more organic than the typical supervillain type speech.
Yeah, I agree.
I appreciate that. And, so yeah, they tell
because
him,
he said it based on Rick Flag's reaction.
Right.
To what was going on. He's like, well, this was from you guys.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then this is where things kind of come to a head. Peacemaker comes down, and then we find out Peacemaker's true mission is to destroy the records that American Forever even involved with this.
Yeah, because at this point, no one, because some people aren't down there, but their minds... Oh, yeah, because Bloodsport, Harley, Polka Dot Man, they're all upstairs.
Yeah.
But Ratcatcher and Rick Flag are completely caught off guard, and their mind isn't even on, like, oh, do we destroy the monster? Do we do this? They're just shocked by Peacemaker and shit. And Peacemaker, when he comes down, he's like, oh, you're supposed to be setting bombs. And he's like, my real, like, I'm loyal to Waller, like, this is my mission, give me the drive.
And this is where we kind of get, like you said, Peacemaker and Rick Flag, they're kind of the same character, but then we see, like, oh, they're both patriotic, but Rick Flag feels like his duty is, like, to America, the American people, where Peacemaker's like, my duties to the American government.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
I like that. I like that.
That's true. And they also, you do have a moment where... Because there's nothing to characterize Rick Flag really as a great guy in the first Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. In this movie, he does go back for Harley, which is like, that's nice.
Yeah.
But...
And then he wants to reveal that to the American people that...
I was going to say, in this
basically,
movie...
you're spending your tax money on this evil shit.
Yeah, but in this movie, Rick Flag... It's kind of the first... It's a bit of a reveal when he goes for the drive, and he says what his intentions are with it.
Yeah.
So you actually kind of... And it makes sense, because... There's a bit of setup there where Peacemaker's like, why the fuck are we going to save Harley? This is a waste of time. And then Rick Flag is like, we don't leave our teammates behind. So it's a little bit of like a hint towards they're going to have a conflict in that way. Not even a hint, but it's a bit of a setup. It feels like it makes more sense when they do have a conflict over this. But I like the aspect of like, you don't know Rick Flag's intentions when he goes for the drive. Like, he says, where is it? I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
So I did like that moment, and it made me like his character a lot. When he's like, I'm getting this back, like, people need to see this, I'm putting this on CNN and shit. Then, yeah.
And Peacemaker's like, no, I'm destroying it.
And then him and
we have nothing to do with this.
And he's like, yeah, I'm fucking destroying that shit.
Yeah, and he's basically like, if you get in my way, I'm going to kill you.
And then he gets in his way, and then he kills him.
Yeah. So, I guess, at this point, Polka Dot Man accidentally sets off the explosives.
Yeah, they do a bit of a, So they
go back to show what's going on with the characters upstairs.
Well, they go all the way from Ratcatcher, in the middle of Peacemaker and Rick Flag fighting. Mm-hmm. The whole shit starts to collapse, and they think that somehow, it's true. Somehow it's
I think they thought Starro. Yeah, Starro was. I thought that's what they thought, that Starro was breaking out.
Yeah,
but it turned out Polka Dot Man accidentally set off the explosives.
Yeah, but they set up. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm curious how you think about it. The way that they set that whole thing up, because they have Rick Flag and Peacemaker fighting. There's an explosion in the middle of it. Ratcatcher's caught in the rubble, and she kind of hides. And then Ratcatcher's kind of hidden, and she sees Peacemaker kill Rick Flag brutally. And their fight is
he takes like a wall tile and stabs him in the heart.
Right in the heart.
Yeah. This isn't like the most like visually disturbing death, but like the thought of that is like being stabbed in the heart with a wall tile. My God. That's
horrible. And there is also a decent little conceit of, because you would expect oh, Rick Flag is on the comp. Like, he still has his mic on. He kind of has to. Or even anyone around him who's there because they have to be. Amanda Waller would hear him talking about, I'm going to show the drive to the people. Why doesn't she explode his brain or have someone else explode his brain? Like, whatever. It's because in Corto Maltese, there's basically like an EMP type thing.
Yeah.
All their comms are down the whole time.
That's a bit too convenient, but it's whatever. It doesn't bother me.
But
that
it
much.
does make me like it does allow you to have the conflict because if you didn't have
I'm just saying like, oh, of course, like they need that for the plot. But
it's in that case because there's a lot of conceits that like you have to make for certain superhero movies and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
I'm willing to make that concession because the conflict between Peacemaker and Rick Flag is awesome.
Yeah,
and I just enjoy.
And I can say it seems accurate because like when I went to El Salvador, I had like really terrible Wi-Fi, so there you go.
pretty accurate to IRL. Thank you, James Gunn. But just real quick too, before we move on past this part, I love that fight. It's really brutal.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Neither of them are superheroes, so they should have maybe died before that.
Yeah,
but it's an awesome fight. I love that fight, and I like how it just gets more and more brutal. And then it's just them like choking each other and fucking stabbing each other and shit. Great fight. But yeah, so Peacemaker's able to kill Rick Flag. Rick Flag stabbed in the heart. And I like when he's like, oh, Peacemaker, what a joke.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a great line delivery.
I agree.
And, Ratcatcher kind of witnesses this, like terrified, and she just grabs the device, the USB with the information on it, and she runs away. And it's... So this is what I meant earlier when I said I want your opinion on this. How do you feel about... Because then, Peacemaker catches up with Ratcatcher. She gets knocked to the ground. He's about to shoot her in the face. And then they're like 8 minutes earlier. How do you feel about that?
It's fine. It didn't I mean, like, how else are you going to show, like... You can't show what was happening here and there at the same exact time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They kind of had to do that. It doesn't bother me too much.
But I feel like especially...
Maybe they could have been cutting between both of them at the same... You know what I'm saying? But I guess he wanted to show everything that they were doing, both teams.
Yeah, maybe there was a way that
he just gave them
work.
a segment for both.
But there's one thing that I think you could definitely cut out of the movie is there's a pretty long, like, minute or two scene of right after that, right? Right after we have the cliffhanger thing with, like, oh, Peacemaker has a gun to her face. Right after that, they're like 8 minutes earlier, and then it cuts to King Shark walking into an aquarium and walking around. Yeah. I hate that. I actually like that as a character moment where he's like, oh, little friends. Like, it's kind of cute. But it barely pays off, and it's like, it's so long.
I will say this, though. Maybe that scene, it's a bit thematically consistent. Because as Rick Flag and Ratcatcher are betrayed by a friend, we see King Shark betrayed by somebody he thought was a friend. So
it's true.
I thought about that just now. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but maybe
it is true. I feel like ultimately that was there to like debilitate King Shark during part of the ending. Because they kind of just latch onto him during part of the end fight. But yeah, I think you could cut that whole shit out because obviously, like, we see a gun to this beautiful, wonderful character's head. And we just want to see her get saved. I was like, come on, like 8 minutes? God damn.
Yeah. And then, just to sum it up real quick, we see Harley, Bloodsport, and Polka Dot Man doing their thing upstairs. And Polka Dot Man accidentally sets off the explosives.
Yeah,
they're
attacked, down. And he accidentally hits one of the bombs.
And then Idris Elba, basically, he's falling down slowly all the way to the bottom. And then he comes right in the nick of time to see Peacemaker about to kill Ratcatcher. And then finally, this is where we see the two basically have their standoff. Because the whole time, they're because at the beginning, there's a joke where they acknowledge that, oh, me and you are the same. We had the same exact skill set.
I do like that because it's even what we were talking about is like so many of these guys are just accurate, and that's their power.
Yeah.
And it was really funny actually because Amanda Waller, she says, everyone on this team is chosen for their specific skill set.
Yeah.
And then, like, a minute later, he's like, okay, here are the team members. He's a raised, born and bred assassin with crazy accuracy. And Idris Elba's like, are you fucking with me?
He's like, what do you need me? He's like, I think he said, what do you need me for if you have him? It's the same.
And truthfully, she only ruined the mission by putting Idris Elba on it.
Yeah, because he's the only one, well, not the only one, but he's like one of the only ones I guess you find out with the shred of decency in him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if he wasn't there, Peacemaker would be the leader, and probably it would have just gone exactly Amanda Waller's way.
Yeah,
and,
pretty much.
Yeah.
So Peacemaker and Bloodsport, as soon as he sees Peacemaker, as soon as Peacemaker sees Bloodsport, he's like, oh, okay, he's like, fuck Ratcatcher, I'm killing you.
Yeah.
Because we basically find out, like, he doesn't like him. We kind of get that idea earlier, but yeah. So they have a real quick standoff, and Bloodsport wins.
They have a setup. They have a weird setup.
About the small bullet.
The way I remember it
was that Peacemaker was the one who said, oh, you need the small bullets, right?
Yeah.
And then it ends up Bloodsport, someone who uses the small bullet.
I guess maybe Blood, because his Peacemaker's bullets look kind of big.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe the implication is that
he was just saying that to fuck with him.
Idris Elba. Well, maybe Idris Elba heard that and he was like, I'm gonna get an even smaller bullet. I'm gonna use
I think that was the point. Yeah.
And I think also like fucking Idris Elba kind of has a cool little thing on his suit where it's like a little 3D printer kind of thing. So I think maybe he can use any kind of bullet he wants.
I'm not sure.
But it has like all his weapons like kind of twist and contort into whatever he wants. Which actually I thought was pretty cool, and it sets him apart from Deadshot. Like, Deadshot is fucking like stupid. God, Deadshot sucked in Suicide Squad. Like literally, Bloodsport in this is just like awesome Deadshot. It's really cool. But yeah, so it kind of pays off from earlier, and it pays off in a sense also of just like they were having dick measuring contest earlier, and fucking Idris Elba wins.
Yeah,
and he shoots his bullet through Peacemaker's bullet, catches Peacemaker in the neck, and he goes down.
And then they take the drive with them. And basically, at that point, mission complete.
Yeah, as far as they know.
Yeah.
But basically, once they get outside, Starro starts breaking out.
Yeah. But Amanda Waller's like, oh, just get back. She just wants to drive. She's like, just get back. Because this isn't our problem.
Yeah, and as far as she knows...
And she's like, actually, this isn't good for America if Starro just destroys the country. And then all of them are like, well, fuck this, we're not going to let...
And because they destroyed the base, the mic comes back on. That's why we hear from Amanda Waller. And then she doesn't know... I think at this point, Idris Elba still has the drive in his little sleeve.
Yeah.
She doesn't know that because the mics were down, but...
Yeah, so she thinks it was destroyed?
Yes.
Okay.
And then, they have a big superhero fight.
Yeah, with Starro. Because all of them are like, you know what, we're not listening to you. We're going to save the city, basically.
Oh, yeah. And then they're fucking the disgruntled employees that don't agree with her evil ways of,
they knock out Amanda Waller.
Yeah, they take a golf club to the back of her neck.
Was that what it was? I thought it was like a lamp.
I don't know.
It's something. It's a hard object. Anyways, so yeah, and then they fight Starro. And basically, I'm going to say, really, King Shark, Bloodsport, and Polka Dot Man don't really do too much here.
I think Polka Dot
Ratcatcher and Harley basically take out Starro.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But Polka Dot Man does cut off one of his legs.
He does? I didn't think... Oh, was the leg that fell on him one he cut off?
Maybe.
Okay, yeah. Polka Dot Man dies in this fight.
But because they had the whole thing where in the movie Polka Dot Man has these hang-ups with his mom, like some Norman Bates shit, whatever, they mentioned that. Every time he gets in a fight, he pretends that the other person is his mom.
Yeah.
And then I guess he's able to have his Kaioken mode, and he goes crazy. And then, Well,
I will say, I guess Bloodsport does all motivate them to do their thing.
He does a pretty okay job leading them, and he's like, he kind of does a Hulk smash thing with King Shark, which I was like, nah. I was like, okay. But
it is literally that scene from Avengers
Hulk
1 where
smash.
It's that same it's the same exact thing.
But yeah, he tells King Shark to go eat Starro. He tells Harley to take the high ground,
and he jumps up exactly like Hulk did too.
Yeah, he does.
The way he jumps in the air. But anyways, who cares?
But he does set up everything, except for Ratcatcher, who he has to save. But then she has all the rats. But like he tells Harley to take this high ground. Like I think he kind of knew. He was like, oh yeah, stab his eye maybe.
Yeah.
Which is what she does because she has the high ground. She's able to jump into his eye and stab him.
And then the rats come in and eat like his internal organs.
That was awesome.
It was
that
awesome.
part was so cool.
When they're all swimming like inside his eye, it looked awesome.
It plays like a very what's the word? It's a very whimsical moment.
Yeah.
But of course you're inside a monster's eye and they're eating tendons. Like there's these rats eating tendons and Harley's just kind of sitting in the water like just watching it happen. it's a very cool mixture of just gruesome and whimsical.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And I will say also, that moment before Ratcatcher summons all the rats to attack him, we get that flashback with her and her dad.
Yeah.
And this is basically, I guess, like, he kind of just says what the main theme of the movie is, kind of. It's like, oh, you know, we all have a purpose, and even if, like, he doesn't really say this, but this is what I took from it. He's like, yeah, basically, we're not all irredeemable. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we all have a purpose, basically. And I really like, because what'd she say? Little Ratcatcher, she say,
she
say, Papa, what, like, why rats, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, rats are the most, you know, they're one of the most hated creatures on the planet.
Yeah, like, they're the most lowly animal.
But if I can give them purpose, then we all have purpose.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Which was cute.
That was great. And also, we mentioned this in our, I think we mentioned this in an episode. I'm not a huge score guy or music guy. Mm-hmm. I don't even really notice it. But I love Ratcatcher's theme in this movie.
Yeah, it was good.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Evan is so good.
Okay, it was good.
It's so good. I love Ratcatcher so much. And I like her little PlayStation Move wand. You know?
Yeah, that was cool. It does look like the PlayStation Move.
But yeah, she's great. And they all have their little moment to shine. But of course, Polka Dot Man, the way he motivates Polka Dot Man, he's like, oh, dude, look at your mom. And it's like, he points at Starro, and then he imagines Starro as his mom. And they, like, he shoots all the polka dots to cut off her leg. And it literally replaces Starro with a giant woman, like, with a giant, his mom.
Yeah.
And it shows him, like, destroying her ankle, like, shattering the bone and, like, disintegrating the muscle. I don't know. Like, and he's so happy about it.
And then the leg falls on him and he dies.
Yeah, and I think the leg he cuts off does fall on him.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, yeah.
Which is, it's pretty funny, and I think James Gunn, he earned one more death.
Yeah, it kind of sucked that it had to be Polka Dot Man, but...
Who else was it going to be?
Yeah, who else is it going to be?
Who else was going to be?
If it wasn't him, I think it'd be King Shark.
Me too.
Yeah. But you always need to keep around the CGI animal.
Yeah.
You can't kill him off.
You can't kill Sly Stallone.
Basically. No, you can't kill the really marketable character. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I feel like everyone that's
left, it had to be Polka Dot Man.
I feel like Ratcatcher earned to live. She's like a good guy.
Yeah, I think they mentioned this before the movie came out, but she is kind of the heart of the movie.
Kinda.
Yeah, so it made sense.
It's kind of tough in a movie like this to kind of say shit like that because everyone gets so little screen time comparatively.
Yeah,
But I guess I would agree with that. And she also, of course, she has the moment. And she looks like... I don't know why I said she looks. Fucking... She has the moment where she's kind of crying about, like, and like you said, like, she's crying about remembering the backstory of the rats and thinking about that flashback. And like you said, that is kind of the thesis of the movie.
Yeah.
Whatever, so, even though this movie plays into the whole... You won't expect the villains to be heroes. Like, that was kind of the whole thing about the first Suicide Squad. This movie, they don't worry about that too much. They kind of just say, like...
It happens kind of naturally.
It does happen naturally. And I like that a lot, because this movie just plays it like, these are shitty people, they're in a terrible situation.
Yeah, but like I said, they do a good job of showing that a lot of them were just kind of victims of their circumstances. Even Peacemaker, to agree, because we see, like, he's basically brainwashed by his father.
Was he?
To be like... Yeah, they say his father... raised him to be like this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Bloodsport's dad did too, I guess, right? They say the same exact thing. That's kind of... remember?
Yeah.
But Idris Elba... I guess...
But he's not like... He's not
he's
not insane like Peacemaker.
That's true. Yeah. But he's definitely not a good guy, because when his daughter comes to see him, he's like, I don't have anything to offer you.
Yeah,
like,
basically.
Why did you even come to fucking see
And
me?
also, he shot Superman, which is a cool little moment that they mentioned at the beginning, is that he hit Superman with the kryptonite
That's
bullet.
one thing I did want to mention, is the only allusions we get to DC outside.
Yes,
we get a name drop for Superman. That's why Idris Elba's in jail, because he shot Superman. And we get kind of the allusion to the Joker with Harley, because she's like, oh, if I get in a relationship again and I see it reflects you're dead. Like, I like the restraint. I respect it.
Yeah, me too. Because it really stands on its own. You didn't need to watch the other Suicide Squad to watch it.
And you know, one thing that's interesting is, you mentioned to me right after we saw the movie, you were like, this kind of reminds me of a Watchmen type thing, part of it.
Oh, I said because of the scene with Peacemaker and Rick Flag.
Peacemaker is
where Rick Flag was like Rorschach, and then Peacemaker was like Dr. Manhattan. Where Rorschach was like, oh, this needs to get out, this information, and Dr. Manhattan's like, no, I can't let you do that, and he kills the Rorschach.
It is exactly like that.
Yeah.
And it's you know what? If you're gonna bite from something fucking
Good.
great. Like
Yeah.
one of the greatest comics of
Yeah.
all time. Go ahead. But one thing that's interesting though is Peacemaker is actually who Comedian was based on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you know how all the I forget what
That makes sense. That makes a lot of
like
sense.
Blue
Yeah.
Beetle and Peacemaker and all those people that DC bought, and they were like, no, Alan Moore, you can't ruin these characters. Make something else we can leech off of for 30 years or whatever. But I just thought that was interesting. And I think Peacemaker, even in the comics, Peacemaker is like, he's kind of like that. Like, he's kind of like this in the movie. It's not even, it's not played up that much. He's kind of already that character.
Yeah.
So Peacemaker was an awesome choice to include. If you had to pick, Evan, who's your favorite character in the whole movie? Who do you think is the best one?
Either Polka Dot Man or Ratcatcher.
I think definitely Ratcatcher for me. But as far as the ancillary characters go, well, honestly, I liked Rick Flag a lot. And the saddest this movie made me was his death. Because I was like, damn, like you had a whole other movie, and I didn't like you at all. And then you got to this movie, and I finally like you right before you die.
Yeah.
I mean, it's effective
Yeah.
as far as the story goes, but I was like, damn, I wouldn't mind seeing him again.
But you know what? They could come back. You never know.
I don't want him to.
I'm just saying, they never... Especially with the approach that DC taking now.
Yeah.
Not trying to make them too connected, the movies.
We were talking about that too.
Yeah.
We both really like that a lot.
They could come back.
They could.
Yeah.
Or
We'll see,
they-
though. We'll see.
Rick Flag.
I don't know why there'd be a need for him to come back, but it could happen. You never know.
I mean, they
That's all I'm
brought
saying.
they brought Steve Trevor back in Wonder Woman, so
And also, Peacemaker, the post-credits, we find out he's still alive.
Right.
There are two post-credits that are basically just to show you that two characters are alive. One being Weasel, which is like the jokey one, and then the serious one is that Peacemaker's
yeah,
still alive.
the first and last death of the movie. Right?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Is that right? So,
Well, actually, no, Polka Dot Man was the last death.
all right. Well,
But close enough. Close enough.
you know what, Evan?
Close enough.
You know what? You're right.
And I guess we didn't mention the very end of the movie, like, barring the post-credits, which is that they end up kind of taking the compromise position. So they don't give the drive away.
Yeah, they don't show it to the public.
Yeah. But Bloodsport uses it to his advantage to get them, you know, kind of free from their situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bloodsport, basically, he calls Amanda Waller, or he calls back to, like, the base thing, the Suicide Squad base, and he's like, this drive will never be seen by anyone if you just let us go.
Yeah.
Does he say anything else?
That's pretty much the end of
Yeah,
the
he's
movie.
like, don't kill us, let us go, and we're good. So I
Yeah.
guess, if there is another Suicide Squad, all these characters are free.
So yeah, we'll see what happens.
It'd
We'll
be
see what
kind of
happens.
interesting maybe if in the next movie, if there is one, the movie's not doing too hot.
Box office wise?
Yeah, it's actually...
I don't know what his numbers are on HBO Max though. That's the weird thing with this whole dual release thing.
Yeah, the streaming services never share anything.
Yeah, so we don't know.
But word of mouth has been pretty good. I've seen a lot of people talking about
It's
it.
getting great reviews.
Most people that see it, I see like it a lot.
Yeah.
So if there is another one, it'd be interesting if she sends a new squad to like get them.
That would actually be fun. Yeah,
that
that'd be cool.
pretty fun. I wonder what the fuck King Shark's gonna go do.
Good question.
Maybe we'll see a Disney
Got some
Plus show
friends
about
now.
it. I don't know.
Yeah, Disney Plus.
But Peacemaker, so that's kind of interesting too. Is Peacemaker definitely? I guess Peacemaker might be my favorite character. Honestly.
Really?
Um,
He's definitely one of the best parts of the movie. John Cena was great in this role.
because obviously Ratcatcher and Bloodsport are way more empathetic. Polka Dot Man, he's fun to watch. He's you can relate to him a lot. If you think about your mom, and you just kind of how you get mad sometimes, and you just you think about your mom, and you just kind of hit people, and he's relatable, right? So there's a
Sure,
lot.
why
there's
not?
There's a lot to these characters. There's a lot to like, but Peacemaker is just like he's the most fun to watch.
Yeah,
He,
because he's so ridiculous.
and I know fucking Grace Randolph. Can I bring up Grace Randolph?
If you want.
Again, she was like, "Oh, like he doesn't deserve his own show. Like I hate him. He's evil. I want to see a Ratcatcher show." Like, of course, this whole podcast I've been talking about, like, oh, I love Ratcatcher. She's fucking. She has like the best story. She's sweet. She's like, you can what's the word? You can sympathize with her. And
Yeah.
shit. Like she's the most.
But that doesn't necessarily mean she could carry an entire show.
She couldn't.
Yeah.
Like she
The thing is, Peacemaker's ridiculous enough where you can, do something with it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like Peacemaker, he could get in some very wacky scenarios.
Yeah.
Peacemaker's cool.
And he's visually interesting enough too.
Yeah.
Because his costume is ridiculous.
He looks like a dumpy Captain America. He looks great.
So yeah, pretty much.
So I agree with us. That's great. Cool. Peacemaker show. I'll watch it. You gonna watch it?
I don't have HBO Max, but
give it a try. Give it a try at good old Dilly's house.
Yeah.
Come on down.
We'll see.
We'll get a little mellow mushroom. We'll watch Peacemaker show.
I'm excited.
Do you think it'll be the prequel like people were saying, or do you think?
Honestly, since they gave that post credits,
I think that might have been a misdirect.
I really don't know.
Because I think at first they were like,
they could do a little bit of both.
Yeah, they could. But I'd be more interested to see him like going forward. Yeah,
me too. I think it could be like, kind of like, you remember in Cobra Kai season 3, what they did with Kreese. Like a lot of the portions of season 3 are like the flashbacks of Kreese.
Oh,
maybe they could do a little something like that.
Honestly,
like
the
past and the present.
That's also a lot like Arrow.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen Arrow, so I don't know. But
in the first season, and I mean further than that, but it's good in the first season. Is they had like the modern day action, and then sometimes they parallel it with his time on like the island, his flashback, and his origin and stuff. That's a good idea. I actually probably, if I had to put money on it, it's probably what they'll do.
Yeah,
probably won't be solid one either way. It'll be both. So yeah, Peacemaker is cool.
Suicide Squad, good movie.
Suicide Squad,
I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun.
And
I'm looking forward to seeing DC do more director, like
director-driven movies.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Because
you can see that they let James Gunn do whatever he wanted.
I think they're gonna shit the bed maybe one more time, and then they're gonna move on.
We'll see.
I think the Flash.
Yeah.
The Flash is gonna be some studio micromanaged bullshit.
Yeah, I think
There's
so.
There's no way that's not what it is. They're just making.
But at least Michael Keaton will be in it.
I'm happy to see Michael Keaton again, and of course I'm happy to see Ben Affleck again. But
of course you are.
That seems like some studio mandated shit.
Yeah.
Maybe the guy was like, I don't remember who's directing it.
They didn't get a great director. It's the director of It. And those movies aren't great.
The first one
was cool, but like 2 was not so.
First one's aight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the horror directors are pretty good matches for superhero movies.
Yeah, because the nature of the characters are often horrific if you think about it. Well, yeah.
That, but also just genre in general. Like, you have that aspect of genre movies where it's just like, okay, I need a payoff. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm here for the action. Give me the action. In horror movies, it's very similar. It's like, I'm here for scary shit. Show me scary shit every 30 minutes at least. Like, it's pretty similar.
I agree.
And it also adds a little extra flavor, I think, when you have a horror director. Especially like the God King Sam Raimi,
Of course,
with his little horror elements in the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, pretty cool. The Flash movie is probably going to be dog shit, but I think after the Flash movie, maybe they'll learn their lesson and be like, you know what, let's fucking pitch, I don't know.
I'm not really looking forward to Black Adam, but I see a lot of people are excited for it.
I'm actually pretty excited for it.
I'm not looking forward to it.
But it's going to be on some...
I'm excited for the Batman, Matt Reeves, the Batman, because I love Matt Reeves, and that's going to be great.
I hope this movie and the Batman prove to them it's like, okay, let's just hire a good director, let him pick, and we'll just let him pretty much make the movie. That I think they're going to learn their lesson pretty soon on that.
And that one is also getting an HBO Max spin-off show, ironically, too.
2.
Huh?
2.
I thought it was just the Gotham show.
Oh wait, no. There's a Batgirl.
The Gotham police show.
There's a Batgirl show, but
that's not related to
the
Batman.
It's not.
Yeah.
No, never mind. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that they're doing that. I do like. I kind of like DC's approach more with the streaming shows, even though we haven't seen any, of course, for their movies. I like the idea that the spin-off show is directly tied into one movie.
I can see that.
Instead of kind of being like its own movie, kind of where it's like in the middle of the timeline or something. Yeah, I like the idea. It's like, oh, let's see what's going on.
The thing about like DC now, they're just kind of saying whatever, forget the timeline. Now it's in a strange way, it's kind of become a burden on the MCU at this point.
Yeah, becoming a heavy load.
Yeah, really.
Becoming a heavy load.
It's hard to, if you haven't seen anything, it's really hard to jump on to the MCU if you have not seen anything.
And it's even pretty hard to write, I imagine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, seriously.
Like there's so much.
That's why.
On everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you see directors don't have a lot of creative input in the MCU.
And I put a lot of respect on Suicide Squad too, because all of these characters are pretty accurate to their comic book counterparts, but that like
I think we just give James Gunn credit for that.
Yeah,
because he's a fan. So.
He is a fan.
Yeah.
I fucking dude, James Gunn. Talk all the shit you want on Martin Scorsese.
No, stop.
Thank you so much.
Now we can put Martin Scorsese in the thumbnail because we can talk about it.
God damn it.
Do you want to? No, we don't. We don't have to talk about this. We don't have to talk about this.
But you know what? I just want to suck James Gunn's dick for a minute. He's just, good movie. I like how. But what I was saying though is just the difference between, you can be accurate to the source material, but having to be accurate to like, when your source material is your own 20 movies in the series, it's like, God, that's so. It's just getting very annoying to watch the MCU. It's getting
I agree.
Yeah.
But for some reason we keep doing it. And we keep talking about it.
Keep bringing it back. I want to see it get good again, but I think over at DC, it's like gambling versus like having a job. It's like I don't know. There's like a chance. Every time there's an MCU movie, I feel like the chances are lower and lower that it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to make that an analogy, but with DC, it's like there's a different creative team, different mindset, different goals for every movie. It seems like they're starting to do.
Yeah. We're at the beginning phase. This seemed like the kicking off point for that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about Shazam, but
like I said, Shazam, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman are kind of all just like MCU movies.
Okay.
They're kind of just like blockbuster template kind of movies.
Yeah.
But this movie was fucking great. Yeah.
It was good. I liked it.
Perfect movie.
No, definitely not perfect, but...
Oh, one thing I did want to mention...
I don't have too many complaints, but just like...
I guess just like kind of the pacing.
Yeah, the pacing...
that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But I did want to mention one thing is after the movie you said you liked this better than the Guardians movies. Do you still agree with yourself about that?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because this is something that's way more up my alley.
Yeah.
Because it's like a crazy 80s action movie, which is what I like. So
it does kind of remind me of like... Even though it has very little to do with, like, Predator...
I'm going to say, like... I was thinking, like, Commando or something like that.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
It does remind me of those kind of movies a lot.
Or, like, I think something maybe closer plot-wise. I mean, they're not similar, but just having people forced to, like, do something like The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Something like that, yeah.
Oh, and also I wanted to mention, this movie, I think, looked better than most MCU movies. Visually, that's another thing I'm getting sick of in the MCU is just everything is starting to look.
The CGI in Weasel and King Shark were both really good. They both look great.
They were. King Shark looked good the whole time. I think sometimes Starro didn't look perfect, but
he's a giant monster. It's
kind of
that's harder. Yeah,
kind of tough.
And also Weasel and King Shark, they both had motion capture, which is easier to make it look better. Right.
But and then also in general, just like the cinematography and shit, like just the movie, and also, well, like I said, it's a very clean but like stylized. It looks great the whole time. But also more specifically, I love the transitions. The transitions were really clever, like the meanwhile, all that.
Oh,
shit.
like the chapters.
Yeah. Because they would have like, they had one where it was like wreckage on a rooftop. And then, like, it shifts the angle and it says a word out of the wreckage on the roof. Like, some of that shit looked really good.
Yeah.
And it was really clever. So, thank you.
Good movie.
Yeah, good movie.
That's about everything I have to say about the Suicide Squad.
And then say one more thing about the Suicide Squad.
I like how James Gunn dyed his hair white for the premiere of the movie.
That was weird. That will definitely,
and he has a white beard now.
That will definitely be
very
thumbnail.
Strange.
Because you sent me some articles and you were like, oh, why the fuck? It was him talking shit about Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
And like the first thing I didn't even want to click on the article. I was just like, what the fuck is up with his hair?
I'm just gonna say it because we brought it up. What he said about Scorsese was really stupid. We don't have to. I know you didn't want to talk about it, so we don't have to linger on it.
Martin Scorsese is a fucking hack.
Stop. Take that back now. What James Gunn said about Scorsese was really stupid and nonsensical.
But honestly, that whole discussion about like MCU, like, just shut up. I don't care anymore. And also, like we were saying this before, that whole MCUs are a theme park ride criticism, that thing got so overplayed.
Yeah.
Like, just no one cares. Well, I guess a lot of people care because they keep clicking on it, but actual people that like the movies, it's like, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I don't care. Shut up to James Gunn as well. But keep making more DC movies.
See, that's the thing. It's just the whole Scorsese thing. It's all just for clicks.
Yeah.
That's all it is. They literally just asked James Gunn about it, of course, just for clicks. That's all it's about. Who cares?
And he happened to say something slightly contradictory or whatever.
Yeah. And then becomes a big thing when it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, when it meant nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired of that shit. Like, the dude's fucking 80.
Scorsese?
Well, I don't know how old he is.
He's old. He's like in his 70s, like late 70s.
Man,
yeah.
he's fucking old. Like,
these movies aren't meant for him. Yeah.
Leave him alone.
These were not the movies he grew up watching.
I mean, you can call.
But I will say this.
What?
There is footage of Scorsese saying that he likes Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Guess what? Because he's a classically Sam Raimi is a savant. Okay? He's an
not
auteur.
unlike savant of this film.
Not unlike savant in The Suicide Squad 2021. Fucking, because Sam Raimi's a great director.
Yeah.
And he made some great movies. That's why.
Facts.
They're probably the only good superhero movies probably in like 20 years.
I don't know about that, but
probably in about 20 years, the best ones.
You're saying those were the last time there was a good superhero movie?
Yeah, Spider-Man 3.
That was the last time? You're kind of contradicting yourself on this one.
About what?
Because you're like, Suicide Squad good.
Alright, when I said it was an 8, I meant it was a 4.5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Understandable.
I'm just boosting Raimi for no reason. Alright, Evan.
It's not with no reason. Okay, we can end it now.
What?
You're ready to end it. I'm like, no, let me say one more thing about Sam Raimi.
I'm just being an idiot. But Sam Raimi is a genius.
He is.
James Gunn, thank you for a good movie and a good time at the movie theater. If you haven't seen Suicide Squad...
This is the most fun I had in the theater in a while. I will say that.
Since probably the pandemic was over and we get in the movie theater...
It's not my favorite movie of the year, but this one I could just turn up my brain off and have fun.
Yeah, great fun.
Yeah.
Great fun time. So yeah, thank you, James Gunn, for a fun movie. If you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend you go see it in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
If you have
Keep theaters alive. Don't do that whole streaming thing.
Yeah.
And if you want to see a sequel to it, go see it in the theaters.
Definitely support it in the theater if you want to see a sequel to it. Go on Letterboxd. Follow me and Evan.
Yes.
I'm gonna start putting those.
Just put it in the description.
Mm-hmm. That'll be a good idea. And have a good, cool day.
Give us your money.
As always.
Bye, guys.